Hey people, thank you for stopping by at Building Wealth with Rajiv. Here's my chat with Alvin. Alvin is a seasoned crypto investor. He's also co-founder of DAOventures, which is into money management and robo-advisory for crypto. I chat with Alvin basically about cryptos and NFTs. So for a beginner, how to build a crypto portfolio from the start, what are the top cryptos you can consider? What are the risks associated with cryptos and NFTs? Hope you like this chat. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see the backdrop of this, Alvin. And I know it's not a financial advice at all. It's just education, how to make money on crypto.
How to make money. Okay.
Where to invest? Let's talk about it. Let's give it a little bit more polished look. Where to invest?
Okay. Again, I want to again, this is not investment advice.
It's not. It's education.
I mean, if you are a let's look from a if you are a newbie, right, an average Joe that just started crypto, right, I would advise you to go into buying, the more popular one, the one that's widely held, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and some of the more popular one like Solana, the more popular one, because now, but again, the reason why I asked you to do so is because many people have research on it, and these are like top projects, and the likelihood of this project, right, sustaining for longer term is actually, the likelihood is greater. So focus onto the very top, cream de la cream, right, of crypto projects. I think that's the safest. And these are the projects I think that will last. Like Bitcoin, they've stood the test of time. Ethereum, so these will last, and invest in those. And I think that will be conservative investing. These are not. I mean, DGen don't invest in this. DGens will go really crazy on the other end. So there's the extreme investing in crypto, and also there are for like level one. Yeah, these are the when I just.
So level one is Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and Binance. I mean, I have some of these already. I mean, because I think when I started, I took Bitcoin. I have Ethereum. I have a bit of Solana as well. And then what happens? Level two, the evolution.
Level two would be you start looking into DeFi, right? Okay. So we talked about DeFi earlier, and that became, to me, I thought, I always thought that the inflection point was really DeFi, that really built utility into currency, and that's where the term yield farming comes along. Right? I'm not sure whether you're into yield farming. Yeah. Okay. So yield farming is actually a lot popular, where people can stake, whatever now. So let's say that you have bought certain coins, right? You can actually stake those coins to do some yield farming. So you basically can farm for more tokens. So i.e., right, you could have bought into, let's say, Solana or Algorand or whatever, right? And then you can take this token, right, and farm it, and to make more tokens, and that would increase your ROI, and also increase, making more money basically in crypto. So yield farming is level two, right? But again, the thing with yield farming is that there's a lot of risk. There's the risk of impermanent loss. There's the risk in the rug pull and all that, right? So these are all risks because, again, it's not regulated. Nobody's backing this when you lose money. I mean, people will promote the project, but when you lose money, you're on your own, mate. You're screwed, right? So when you do level two, I mean, again, invest at your own. Even when you do DeFi on some of the DeFi yield farming on known exchanges, I'm not going to name them. These are like top, popular centralized exchanges. They also have that exemption that I mean, you can invest in them, but if you lose money, we're not accountable, unless if you're only investing in our own, own products. So again, there's a risk involved, but again, your return is that you get, you make a lot more money, right? So the risk associated with that, you make more money at the end. So that's like level two, right? Then where the real big money is, I mean, big money is that people,
quick money or big money.
Okay, when people are buying all these assets, when you do yield farming, when you're buying your crypto, you're still buying from the secondary market, right? Yeah. Whether it's centralized exchange, whether it's Uniswap, and all these decentralized exchange like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, or QuickSwap, you're still buying from secondary market. And secondary market prices is already an inflated price because it has gone through, the token launch, has gone through everything. So that piece of money, that the so-called premium is already built into the coin and tokens already. So when I say going into those project that is on track to be launched, right? These are like, similar to ICO, right? And
initial coin offer, ICO is initial.
Right. So this could be like ICO, similar to ICO. It's called IDO. This is when you do your initial token launch again. So your token launch, there's this thing called a fundraising. So the fundraising the fundraising is not the public portion. Is not this. These are token that has not land in the secondary market. These are token that's yet to be even minted, right? So the project owners will go and look for investor. They will look for seed investors. They will look for private investors. And most of these people are mostly project owners and crypto VCs. So these are the people who actually grab, the most of the crypto, right, at lowest price. These are the prices prior to even hitting the exchange. So you can think of all these prices, like Solana used to be like in cents, okay, in cents. Now a lot of money, right? So a lot of these projects used to start very small, and who are hanging on to this token? Either the project owners or some of the VCs. Some of the VC may have sold it, or may have kept it, depending, right? And these are the big money, because when you're buying at so-called discounted price, when it lands on the secondary market, it will pop, right? And the pop is that, that's why in our terms that we always talk about the 10x, the 50x, the 30x. We're not even looking at percentage already, huh? We're looking at multiply whatever the amount was, right? How many times?
This is same as investing in companies, right? Early startups, right?
Similar.
Yeah.
But this is but think of it like investing in startup, but on steroid. Okay. Why do I say that? Yeah. Now, I've invested in startup, traditional startup several times, over the years. Now, for a successful startup, right, to really get onto your A round, B round, C round, even if you get onto your A round, your failure is still 80%, huh? Right? But startup failure rate is like 95%, to 98% at seed round, and then it goes lower at at Series A. But startup that lands into Series C and D, these are the late rounds. They usually go public, right? But the thing with these companies, it takes time, right? To land you to a point of a very good startup usually takes 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7, right?
Easily.
Right, easily. That's like a very good startup, 5 to 7 years. Some companies like 10.
That would like a Facebook or a Google.
Right. Correct. I mean, very few companies, like one like
top 1%.
Right. And that's the traditional startup. In crypto, that's like 3 to 5 months. So imagine this, right? You invest into a company, into a project, and then your project will kickstart with a white piece of paper and some ideas, some teams. It's the same thing. And then obviously it goes through that, similar to a Kickstarter, kind of like accelerated Kickstarter program. And then so the so-called token launching is similar to like IPO, right? And even before your product is out, you kind of like do an IPO on your project. So the token is actually goes into the public on the secondary market, right, on launch. Now, in the traditional world, this would have taken 5 to 10 years, but here, right, like 5 months. So that's why I said crypto is actually on steroid when you do a startup. It's the reverse, right? If you look at traditional company, you need to deliver. You need to be qualified to go public.
Where to find these companies, Alvin? How to find them?
So these companies, I mean, there are a lot of now. That's why this is the so-called the crypto inner circle. So, but there are lots of there are lots of these projects being mentioned, also being kind of like promoted on Twitter, right? There's some website that even talk about upcoming IDOs and all that. So there are websites that aggregate this kind of information. But again, there are a lot, right? And you got to be very careful. I think the challenge for many is that how to verify this project.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's big because there's no regulation.
If you
buy into an IPO, let's say you're buying into an IPO in Singapore, the Singapore Stock Exchange, right, would have, vetted it already, right? So that becomes, you are ease and comfort because, you got the Singapore Exchange backing, right, on this IPO. But with all these, projects, right, you got to do your own research. It's just like how you would do your own research when you invest into tokens. Like, why would people buy into Dogecoin? I mean, why? I mean, right? Why would people buy the Shiba? I mean, this company has got no product, but it's a meme coin that that people got together and said, let's support this coin. So you need to validate it. You need to verify it, and you need to most of the time. My advice is that you need to know the founders. If you don't know the founders of the project, right, I think you got to stay. I mean, if it's an anonymous project, a lot of projects doing an IDO, right, the team members are anonymous. Like they will use an avatar profile picture, like a jackass name, right, as their name, and then they will raise money. And some of these projects, mind you, because they have done so well in marketing and promoting it, that even a jackass, anonymous team could raise quite a lot of money. So and the thing is that the thing is that now not one people is believing in the entire community that's actually lives on Telegram, on social media, on Twitter, and or even Discord believes in it, like how people would believe in NFTs, right? Like a JPEG file, right? That costs so much money, right? It's just a code. I mean, it's just a code with a JPEG, file costing, tens of $1,000s to hundreds of $1,000s, to even millions, right? So again, it's how good backing are you getting from the project owners, and what's the utility, right? And when you get a good backing, then everyone wants to be associated to that project, and everyone thinks the project is going to moon, in crypto terms, right? And when you see, there's FOMO, the project is going to moon, then more FOMO will be created, more people will jump into the project, and then they will work together, right, to push the project price up, Okay. So, right.
I just get a bit specific, Alvin, now. And again, it's not a financial advice. It's a very education driven, but I think sometimes what happens that when you put money, you put skin in the game, and that's the real test, right? So my simple question to you that right now, I just want to take you back 2-3 years back or 5 years back, Alvin, and you are a very advanced investor now. I say that, Alvin, you are a level 1 investor, okay, and you have $10,000. Let's talk about small money. Yeah? What would you buy? How would you allocate that money?
You mean right now?
Right now, you're a level 1 investor, or what will you suggest a level investor should allocate $10,000?
I mean, if I were a level 1 investor, I think you need to understand cryptocurrency, right? First thing, what the very basic, right? What is a crypto exchange? How do you trade on a crypto exchange? What's a wallet? I mean, you need to understand all the terms, crypto terms. So the first thing that you do, fire up an account with a renowned name, like could be Coinbase, Binance,
or Gemini, or whatever.
So at least or Gemini or crypto.com, a good exchange, and get familiarized with how to use it, right? Because it's very similar to if you have used a stockbroking tool, or even you would know how to use it. It's very similar, right? And learn how to then trade, and what's a wallet address, how you transfer, so these are like level 1, like very basic. And obviously then the level 2 will be you get onto decentralized wallet like MetaMask and so forth. So that's level 1, and then buy into some coins that you hear, right? And the popular one will be I'm sure that first thing that comes to most people's mind, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
So
and
let's talk about $10,000. So 20%, 30% allocation, 20% I go for Bitcoin.
We built an ETF called Citadel, right? That sits on a group. We call it a crypto ETF. So okay. I would also share the same formula, right? If you have to buy now, the weighting is very simple. Now, what's the weighting? The weighting is as per the weighting of each of these top coins. Like Bitcoin is about 45% of the entire market. So maybe buy 45%. Up to you. I mean, it could be 50%, right?
Oh, that's high.
Yeah, Ethereum maybe Ethereum is about 20%. Then buy 20% of Ethereum, $2,000 Ethereum, and then the balance, right? Maybe buy, say 30% of all the top coins that we talk about them: Polkadot, BNB, Algorand, Solana, Avalanche. I mean, buy some,
Okay.
right? Just to get familiarized, because when you buy, you would also need to learn about those projects. What the hell is Solana? What the hell is these are all different chains, right? And then the last 1,000 bucks, right? Go and try yield farming, like play simple yield farming. I mean, all the exchanges or maybe staking and so use that balance of the money, right, to test. So that's what I mean. Like, again, it's only 10% of it. I mean, if you lose at that 1,000, it's still only 10%, right? But purely to learn, and then the rest, right? I mean, you would have 5,000 into your Bitcoin, which is safe, a very safe investment, and 2,000 into Ethereum, also very safe, right? And then a bit more volatile on the other 20% on the altcoins, and then you're done with $10,000.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good advice, Alvin. And I think I did the same thing 2 years ago when I was starting into it. You think these cryptos now, again, no right or wrong, and especially the recent bear market, which I experienced in stocks and cryptos. Crypto keeps going up and down, but stocks, growth stocks, I experienced a bear market, which is very painful, right? Kind of lost a lot of belief or faith in price targets, right? It sounds like a lot of bullshit going around. This could be this price. But do you think these cryptos can beat blue chip equities? I'm not sure how much exposed are you to equities. So these are blue chip of cryptos, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum. Can they beat blue chips of stocks? I'm just trying to see the opportunity cost here.
Okay. Now, if you look at the current equity market, right? Equity market, the last 12 months, right? Let's split them into equity market, North America, right? And then Asia, more specifically China. I'm sure you are aware that China's equity market, like Alibaba and Tencent, are getting hit badly. Like how bad is bad?
For no reason, for regulations.
Right. So badly that we're looking at 75% down from the high. This is worse than Bitcoin have ever been down in that 1 year, right? So Tencent, a very good company, as I'm sure you're aware.
Fantastic.
World largest, gaming company and all that, very profitable. They were down 60%. Wow, 60% from the top. So again, obviously this is a very unique time for Chinese stocks because of a lot of issues, right? Now, but the last 12 months, I think crypto has actually performed much better. If you look at I'm sure you will probably realize it because you have a crypto portfolio. Look at how now obviously there's volatility. It went to a high and it's back down. But crypto, as opposed to equity market in the entire year, especially Chinese equity, has been a lot more resilient. Look at Ethereum and Bitcoin. Let's talk about the core crypto. It has bounced back so quickly. It went to a low. I think Bitcoin went to a low of 30,000, plus minus 5%, right, and then rebounded very quickly. It's not like it stayed there for a long time. It rebounded very quickly, and obviously the entire crypto, always move, in the same direction of Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. But if you look compared to equity market, right, equity market is actually now far, isn't performing as well. So I look at if you purely, I won't comment on the entire crypto market, but if you just purely look at the top coins, the blue chip, I think Bitcoin, right, and also Ethereum. I'm not sure whether I can justify as a hedge to inflation, but I can certainly say, right, if you have kept your Bitcoin at every moment from the day that you bought Bitcoin from day one, it has actually increased in value every single year, right? There were times that were a bit, retracted a little bit, but it will bounce back again. The last 13 years, if I put the same dollar on any stocks, right, the best stock that I have is actually Tesla. and also Tencent that has appreciated 40x to 50x already from the point I bought it like 10 years ago. But if I compare to Bitcoin, there's nothing to compare. No comparison.
No comparison. No comparison.
Ethereum as well and so forth. So if you ask me from my standpoint, yeah, I think it's I'm not saying that put all your money in crypto. Don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say is that now, as an asset class, right? If you are, we talk about diversity. I always talk about diversification. Now, if you've seen an asset growing that well, I mean, again, there's risk, to be built into it, but it has grown a lot, and there are more people joining in, right? Now, if you're an investor, you got to allocate some money into it, right? But the question now is that what's the percentage? And I think that's a percentage that whether you're a fund, whether you're individual, right, you have to make that call yourself. Like I used to tell people, maybe 5 years ago, I'll put maybe 2 to 3% of my money into crypto, because if I lose 2% or 3%. But if I win, that 2 or 3% could be bigger than my entire 100%, right? I mean,
but right now your portfolio will have a lot of crypto, isn't it?
So right now, no, my equity basket is still the largest basket, because I've been a stock investor for a long time. But that percentage is shrinking already. It's shrinking not because I'm putting more money into it, right? It's shrinking also because
your crypto is going up.
And now it's making up a much bigger basket now. In fact, right, a lot in time to come, at the rate as going, it will definitely, right, be bigger than my equity. But don't forget, I started with very small, because I always, have this notion, right? Invest what you're willing to lose all.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So if you are not willing, if this money is your life money, you need to live with it. Don't invest into crypto because you can't afford to lose it. But if you want to invest in crypto, invest what you're willing to lose all. That's right. Like if you're in NFT, yeah, it's fun to make a lot of money, but it's very speculative. That thing can go to zero. The same like crypto. So it's not
you think Bitcoin can go to zero? No, not right. I don't.
I mean, anything. Very, very. If you ask me this question, like I said, as I've said earlier, maybe 3-4 years ago, I think there's a probability, but that probability is now very, very tiny, because very unlikely, because now you have got so many people carrying it, right? Michael Saylor will be in a very difficult position if his Bitcoin now goes to zero.
His wife will divorce him for sure.
Yeah. I think he's gone. I mean, he has got so much money sitting on Bitcoin. So you got you got now Tesla on his balance sheet, right? Like $2 billion of Bitcoin, right? Then you got a Terra who wants to accumulate $10 billion. They have just acquired $1 billion. So it's very unlikely. I'm not saying there's no possibility. I think it's getting very, very difficult, because number one, the acceptance, right? It's just like money, right? Like if you think about it, like US dollar isn't supposed to worth any money. It's a piece of paper printed, right, with no backing. The only backing is because you trust the government, right? So again, when people trust each other, it's like when you and I agree that a piece of paper values some shit, that has value. So I think it's the same with any kind of any currency. And Bitcoin is acceptable by many, right? And I think even if government trying to clamp it down, yeah, the price there may be volatility, but you and me we're still going to agree that it's going to worth some money. So going to zero, very difficult. Except especially when it's widely used. But if it's a small token, let's say some of the alternative coins that has got the community is very small, like maybe 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Those difficult. Those can go to zero. No, because you don't have a lot of support, right? But Bitcoin, Ethereum, huge supporter, very, very, these are like, could be fans, could be, loyalists and all that. So very difficult.
Very difficult. Now, altcoins. What are a couple of altcoins you're looking at favorably? Are you able to talk about some of them?
I mean, this is not investment advice, but I kind of like now. I kind of like Binance. Binance Smart Chain. So BNB, right? BNB. I don't get money paid for promoting them or whatever.
No, it's fine. No, don't worry about it.
It's my personal thing. I like BNB because again, BNB has got a very strong backer. I mean,
is it an altcoin?
Binance. I mean, Binance is a top coin. I mean, I think it's like top 5. Binance.
Okay.
It's BNB. And BNB started by Binance. I mean, the Binance is the world largest exchange.
Yeah.
And they created their own chain called BNB chain, which is actually an EVM. It has got a very a lot of usage. In fact, one of the world largest DEX, which is called PancakeSwap, sits on BNB. So i.e. you can actually trade tokens right on the PancakeSwap. So there are several tokens you can actually buy on Pancake, and it lives on the BNB chain. And obviously, then you got the Uniswap, which is actually an Ethereum on Ethereum chain, where you can buy a lot of the other Ethereum projects. So my I mean, BNB is one of my bigger hold. I kind of like it very much because it's well backed, and again, there's a lot of utility. And I've got some project that also live on that chain as well. The other one that I like very much again is now Solana has been getting a lot of noise, so I don't want to talk about it because everyone talks about Solana already, right? The other one that I like to talk about is actually an Indian project called Polygon.
Polygon,
right? Yeah. So I mean
Polygon Matic.
Polygon now is called Matic, right? And I work with them. I work with them as on a project layer. In fact, we also built on a project on Polygon on Matic, and team very supportive. And when we started talking to them, Polygon was actually a very, very small project. In fact, the coin price of the coin then and now that I would have wished I bought a lot of Matic at that time. All right. I mean, kudos to the team and the founders and all that. I mean, they've done a great job. Yeah, done very well. And I think when we were talking at that time, because I can relate to the project very well, was because even in those days, while the Ethereum gas fee wasn't that high yet, but it was already high by any standard, right? And then Polygon talks about the gas fee being low and so far. I mean, it's a layer 2, it's an EVM, and again, I think when you look at the result after 1 year, lots of adoption, because at the end of the day, right, it's all about adoption. Now, BNB is also very huge in the space because again, it's backed by Binance, and yes, as that so-called Binance Cloud, and that also gives like a lot of people want to work on the Binance chain because it's well backed and it's also a good chain, right? And lots of adoption. Lots of adoption is on both sides. One, the developer, like projects. Two, the other one are the users. So like people who would use it to do trading, people who will use it to use yield farming and borrowing and lending and all, and even right now gamification, right? Or even NFTs and whatever you. So these are very popular. Now Solana is getting more popular because again, a lot of adoption, a lot of good promotion, and I mean at the end of the day, right, it's all about adoption. And then they're getting a lot of traction. They also raise a lot of money from the equity round. They're also promoting it. And they are getting adoption now, especially right now. Solana is getting very popular on NFTs as well. Polygon. So I see these are like my few that I think are getting a lot of traction. Recently, of late, Cardano as well. So the token symbol is ADA. So
but the smaller ones, what are the smaller ones, Alvin? These are the big ones.
Okay, the smaller one that I like very much is a project called Phantom.
Phantom, okay.
FTM. A project that was started by Michael Kong, but of late a bit of problem because
I have Phantom.
Okay, the core developer. I mean, he's one of the key developers, but
Andre.
I mean, he left the project, and like all his other projects, all tanked, right? But it's a good project. I think Michael is actually I don't know him in person, but I've actually heard him on stage, and also I mean a very smart Australian guy, and then he has got a great vision, and I think Phantom is also getting some traction. I'm quite bullish, and good thing about Phantom is that they've gone through this stage and volatile, and Andre left the project. That their price now is a bit depressed. I mean, by comparison, right? So when there's a problem, you see depression in price, and sometimes depression again, could be potential, right? Or it could be otherwise, right? But again, I think FTM is a good project long term. It's a small cap, much smaller cap if you compare to the
Solana.
Right. So FTM is actually I'm following it, and I think it has a lot of good future coming up.
Okay, so that's so besides the big ones, FTM, and about the Lunas and of these world, Luna actually
Oh, Luna. I mean, Terra now is actually on a tear. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Terra. In fact, I think Terra is getting a lot visible now. Now, in the past, like who would bother like buying into like keeping UST, right? Now, okay, let's keep UST, and the token price has gone up a lot. I think Terra is going to be a very formidable player.
Okay.
I personally think that they are doing quite well. A lot of attraction. Again, visibility. They're very visible. 10 billion. No one want to like at least buy $10 billion in terms of Bitcoin. So that's again a great. I think great marketing. Backed by a great team, a good team. I think that has got legs. Certainly, Terra is on a tear right now. I also have some Terra, but again, no investment advice. But it's a very good project. And in fact, some of also that and getting a lot of traction. When usually in crypto is that once you get a lot of visibility, a lot of good news, a lot of project will jump onto you, right? Just like how Solana get traction and people, projects, join hands with Solana, Avalanche, and so forth. The world of crypto is very hype driven, right? It's very hype driven, and that's why people, most of the projects needs to do a lot of marketing. Especially, you need to be very visible on social media, and because that's where now I'm sure when you follow all those projects, I'm sure you must have heard from somewhere, and most of the time, 99% of the time, social media.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's all over the Twitter. But in terms of the bigger themes, you have DeFi, then you have gaming, you have metaverse. What is like has higher potential? I know that comes with risk. Is it gaming? Like you have a lot of these gaming coins that I have some like Mana and all that stuff. So where is the potential in terms of sectors? I'm trying to divide it: decent, DeFi, gaming, metaverse. Which ones you think probably can pop up?
I think these are all a progression and evolution. I mean, DeFi. Came from. It's taking the entire traditional finance and then kind of like we put it on steroid, right? And that element of finance now is being injected into gaming. So now gaming, right? Which was, if you look at traditional gaming, it's just game. You just go in and play and have fun, right? Right. But now gaming is play and earn. So you can actually play a game and earn
like X Infinity.
Like X Infinity and so forth. So now a lot of games you can actually play and also make money. And where does the money come from? The money is actually being created out of cryptocurrency. And not only that you're earning that crypto, and how are you earning it? You're earning again in a form of yield farming. Basically, when you play game, when you make money, it's through yield farming. The back of it is actually yield farming or staking and all that. So the element of finance is being injected into a gaming that allows you to make money as you play, right? And then because the game comes with crypto, therefore he can give you money. He can give you crypto that you can then sell them for money that can be exchanged into other stable coins, right? So I think when you look at the ecosystem, it's a progression. Now, if you look at NFTs is again going through the same progress. Like now, not only that you buy a piece of a JPEG file, right? Your JPEG file also allows you, a lot of project allows you to stake your JPEG file to make more crypto, right? If you look at one of the exchange called, beside OpenSea, there's another one called LooksRare. If you look at LooksRare, LooksRare actually pays you crypto for doing transaction. So if you make a transaction, someone goes onto LooksRare, which is actually a version of OpenSea. When you do a transaction and purchase an NFT, your purchase, right, depending on the value or whatever, you get LooksRare tokens, being kicked back to you, right? But that's really to incentivize you to use. Whether how genuine is that, how many of that are real transactions, but it actually encourages you to incentivize you, right, to actually buy and sell on LooksRare. So So if you look at a lot of projects, they are leveraging
each other.
finance,
It's an
right?
ecosystem which is developing, which is one
Right.
connecting another. But all I'm saying is that stage of development, that also comes as a factor in the returns, right? If gaming is if you look at the S curve, right? If you on the S curve, gaming is still pretty much at the bottom, and DeFi is probably here. So maybe gaming more upside potential is there in gaming. That's how I was thinking.
I mean, gaming as an industry is already huge. It's not like a new, and we are really at an early stage where you see. Now, I'm not going to comment on any particular game, but in general, most of the game that you probably have experienced on blockchain, right? Some of the games that you have mentioned, and some of the games that you know, right? In general, the qualities are actually very poor, very poor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, poor quality.
Even Mana and X Infinity, you think the quality is also?
I won't comment which one. I say in general.
Okay.
I say in general,
Okay.
very poor.
Okay.
Now, why do I say that? Right now, most of these companies who are developing this, right, are very new companies. We haven't even scraped the top of the De La Cream developers like Tencent, right? Like the big giant company, EA Sports and so forth, EA Games and all that, right? These are big developers who have not gone in yet, right?
Okay.
So I mean, but because the fact is that a good game development takes time. Some takes as long as 2 or 3 years. It's a long time. I mean, good development. So we are really at an early stage we are at an early stage where a lot of these GameFi are actually being powered by small developers. Some of these companies are based in China. Some of these developers are based in Vietnam. Some of these developers are based on it's all small studio, and they're enjoying that right because it's at the beginning where there are not many choices. So you can live with some of the games that you just mentioned, and everyone is willing to play on it. Now, if you look at Decentraland and also Sandbox, right? Now, judge for yourself. Go and Google and search down what is the average active players per session, active user per session or per day. Very low, very low, because it takes time. I mean, they're doing a good job in promoting it and getting it ready. It takes time, but we're not there yet. I mean, nobody is there yet. It takes time. I mean, some of the industry leaders are also, I also agree. It takes time. And what we are seeing, and we talk about metaverse, right? We are probably at least 5 years. 5 years to get there, right? To get there with with more desirable headset, right? With more desirable gaming experience, right? Where you can really say, oh, it's a metaverse that we can embark on a journey. But we got to be also realistic. While we talk about the metaverse, which is far away, let's not forget there's a real world here. I mean, I always tell people, I say, yeah, as much as we want to position that people live in that world, I mean, if we look at gaming, there's already a lot of virtual game that allows people to play virtual. There's a similar metaverse, and there's a metaverse, a so-called play like 15 years ago called Second Life, right? There was a game called Second Life. And if you look at right now, there's several, MMORPG game, virtual games, right? It's actually very lavish, very well designed that people play, that you can exist as another person or exist as another person and a huge champion, right, on that game that nobody knows you in real life, right? I think there's this notion of people who want to have that so-called virtual personality, because you may be nobody as an individual, but somebody when you're online. Right, you can be whatever that you want to be, right? And so they're always going to be this segment of market. But how many of us will actually drop our pants, drop our everything, get onto that gear and get onto metaverse and become someone else?
It's a bit of a distant dream,
right? So I'm not saying it won't happen. I mean, we've watched movie before. I've seen people sitting on a chair and then enjoying going to a different world. We've seen that already in Avatar and all that stuff, right? So possibly, yeah, there's a market, but we are really miles away, like 5 years away, because right now you look, our headsets, it looks horrible on us, right? Maybe when it's like this, maybe, yeah, right? And the chipset, you need very powerful chipset to run the system. right? Where everything runs so seamless, right? And then interoperability between a metaverses and also my take is that we are really far away from that, but GameFi we are very near, right? I think it will probably take maybe 12 months, maybe 6 to 12 months, maybe at most 18 months, where you see a lot more games coming in, like quality games. These are games that's developed by big studios, right? Where you get a lot more, because the notion of when you look at a lot of these young gaming companies, they are in general mostly battle game, like put two person together and then you battle, and the one who wins, then depending on the trades, right, you make more money. Very simple.
Simple linear games.
Yeah, and simple, and most people are into it because of making money. Those people who are from low income, like Philippines, Indonesia, and also Vietnam, right? They love the game because it's supplement their income, which is a great innovation. But if you talk about real gaming, I'm a gamer. I play a game for donkey years, right? It's a shit game. There's no fun. But if you talk about those people, yeah, I mean, if I get paid $100, $150, I'll play. I play, right? So yeah, but from if you ask me in terms of where it will go, I think games will get better, and then the small studio, right, would have to really scale up. They really have to scale up. Otherwise, how do you compete with this like true big studios, right, who has got deep pockets to come up with really true gaming? How do you compete with them?
Yeah. Last question. NFT projects. Any promising NFT projects you're seeing, Alvin?
I won't promote my own, even though I have an upcoming project. But you can follow me and I'll tell you more. But I won't promote it. But no, my take on the overall, I won't comment on which project is better than others. I think if you look at the entire ecosystem on NFTs, it's very speculative. Now, when you invest in NFTs, right? From my standpoint, investing in NFT, you got to be stomach not just the volatility, right? Now, if you buy into a coin, let's say you buy into a coin, and even no matter how shitty is your coin would have a value. It could be like 0.0001, but there's still a value tag to it. And as long as it's tradable, you can get your 0.0001 from that trade, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, huh?
Yeah.
As long as the coin is still being traded, you can go to an exchange and trade it for that value because it's still tradable. If you hold on to an NFT, right, because the NFT is that one NFT carries that one token, and that one token is only tradable if someone else wants to buy from you. So if you can't find an idiot to buy from you, then that NFT will sit in your wallet like a
for a long time.
Spam. And you can't even transfer that shit out, because if you need to transfer, you need to spend money to send that shit out, right? So when you buy into an NFT, you got to be very, you got to be very mindful of what you're buying into, because it's very high, it's highly speculative, and most of the time, 99% has got like zero utility. So if you ask me from my standpoint, when you want to buy into, number one, you got to like understand what you're buying yourself into. Know the project owners, right? Know the details of what's going on, back, and always remember, when you buy into all this stuff, there are people flipping to you, right? Now, unless if you're like one of the early birds to gets a whitelist and then you can flip onto others, your chances of actually making money is actually very slim. And most of the time on an NFT marketplace, right, there's a lot of wash, we call it washing, wash sales, i.e., owners selling to themselves from one wallet to another to give you an impression to give you an impression there's actually a lot of transactions actually within real life. It's just left to right pocket. So if you want to buy into a good project, like buy into a known project where the founders are actually people who has got a good roadmap, right? People who has got a plan for the future, right? And I mean, I'm not trying to promote Bored Ape, right, or whatever. But these people who are creating it, right? Even though when they started, right, they were still. I remember when they were starting it, they were also promoting on Twitter, but but they have got that going already. They've got traction, and then it's all scalable. Now you've got CryptoPunk bought it all together in one, and they even have Ape Coin on top of it as a meme coin. I think, you know, if when you look at they are at least as a project, right? They're more solid, right?
Okay.
It's very costly, but very costly to get into that
kind of blue chip.
Yeah, I mean for NFT, I think
NFT blue chip.
they are like the Bitcoin of NFTs already, right? So yeah, would they tank? I think anything is possible, but they are a lot more solid. What they will still be valuable, you know, even after going through that volatility. But 99% of the project, you're just buying into a piece of JPEG that someone flipped to you. So be very careful, right? Again, like I said, unless you know the project well, you're very involved, and then you have access to, you're an early bird that you get onto a whitelist, right? Buying an NFT outright from the secondary market is really not so simple, right? Unless again, these are known artists, right? Where the founders are actually, now I think moving forward, the maturity is that it's going to be, you know, involvement on brands where all these NFTs are backed by something, right? That they're backed by brands, you know, renowned brands like Nike, Adidas, or whatever, who has got plans into the metaverse. And these people who built it, they have got plans on the utility, or maybe some known artists, right? These are famous artists or maybe famous, you know, luxury brands who give you access to special things. Then there's a value of buying into that membership. Because to me, when I look at all these NFTs, like buying into membership, right? So you got to think of it now. What the membership that you're buying into, what are you getting out of it?
Right. Okay.
Right.
Cool. I think, Alvin, very insightful discussion. It seems that, you know, your knowledge is very, very deep and broad, both, you know. And so thank you so much. I'm sure this will benefit people who will hear it, my subscribers and others. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Happy to share.
Yeah,